Hi, everybody. Dan Illman, Mike Beer, the DRF race of the day for Thursday, July the 30th. Race number 9 at Saratoga. It's the John Morrissey Handicap. Some nice New York bred sprinters going 7/8 of a mile. Before we get to the analysis, let me remind you to check out the DRF Saratoga landing page for the Saratoga handicapping shop. PPs, picks, clock reports, betting strategies, lots more. The must-have tools to win big at Saratoga. Learn more, DRF.com/spa. Here's the field for the John Morrissey Handicap. You can download free formulator past performances for this race on the Race of the Day event page at DRF.com. Access them, handicap along with us. Amundsen 2-1 on David Aragona's morning line. At first, I was a little bit surprised, Mike, that David made Amundsen the favorite in this race, but then we look at the Timeform US pace projector, and he might have a big advantage.
I mean, yeah, he does certainly have good speed, and he's in good form right now, too, for a trainer who ratioed a pause, who's on a pretty good run. We'll see what happens. I don't know if he's going to be favored in here or not, but he certainly has a real chance to win this race.
Do you think that My Boy Tate's going to show a little bit more speed? I just can't imagine if the My Boy Tate of old that we've seen over the winters past at Aqueduct, one of the better New York bred sprinters, is just going to allow Amundsen to get right up on an easy lead without pressuring him just a little bit.
I mean, we'll see if My Boy Tate's the one to take up that role. I don't know if he's going to be the one to go forward. I mean, I think he'll be close. I don't know if they're going to send him. But, certainly I was more interested to see what they do with Pat on the back from the rail, because he's not a slow horse, and I feel like they got to break him running in this race.
And the last time he sprinted was way back last year, going 6 furlongs, and he won it from off of the pace. He's a very versatile horse, as you see. The pace projector has him up close. And his last race, he has a couple of built-in excuses, in my opinion. One was the long layoff. He really didn't have to fire off the layoff. And 2, that was a pretty fast pace. Funny Guy came from next to last. Bankett, the third-place finisher, came from last. Pat on the back was up close to that pace, and it might have hurt him.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't his best performance. I guess you could use the layoff excuse for him. I think there's a little bit of maybe a sense of urgency with him now, because, he didn't run great in the Cigar Mile at the end of last year. Not that he was supposed to win that race, but he really didn't run well at all. He was mildly disappointing as the favorite in the Empire Classic, even if a mile and an eighth isn't his best distance. You feel like he could have run better in that race, too. So we'll see what happens. I still think he's a major player in this race, Dan, but he does, have to step up and run a better race here.
Tasmania, the number 2, might just be a notch or 2 below state-bred stakes competition. He's been stuck in the non-winners of 2 other than condition now for his last 5 races, and he doesn't have a lot of early speed. If the pace projector is right, he's probably not the best closer in the race. Again, you hate to knock a big-priced horse, but he just looks like he's in really tough.
Yeah, he's hard to like in this race. He actually ran well 2 starts back. He just got untracked way too late, and it was making a big run in there, but he couldn't get up. But even that race doesn't make him that competitive in here.
T Loves a Fight's one of our favorite horses because he's a tough cookie. He always seems to fire against New York breds, and his last 3 races have been against open company. Maybe you'll appreciate getting back to Saratoga, where he's had a good amount of success, but his last 2 races have kind of lost me just a little bit. He just didn't show a lot of fight in his most recent start, and that's not like T Loves a Fight.
Yeah, he didn't run great last time at all behind Amundsen, so he's going to have to rebound out of that. If you go back to some of the races he was running earlier in the year or at the end of last year, it gives him a chance in here, Dan, for at least a piece. If he can get the right trip in here and rebound to one of his good races, you could use this horse somewhere.
I agree. He's going to be a price. He's a hard hitter, and he fires against New York breds. He runs well at the Spa. Amundsen's the 4. He's the projected early pace setter with a pace advantage on Timeform US. This is his 3rd start of the form cycle. You cannot argue with his last 3 Beyer speed figures, all of them 95 or better. Let's watch his race on the 4th of July. This is against non-winners of 2 other than open optional claimers. He takes over, turning into the stretch, and for a brief second, it looks like he's going to put this field to bed, but Fortin Hill's going to run him down. Are you a little bit concerned about the 7/8? On paper, he's bred to run all day, at least from sire, broodmare sire, but he's been better at 6.
Yes, I'm a little worried about the 7. I mean, I think he gets it. I just don't know if it's his best distance, Dan. He certainly ran fine over this distance last time, though. Fortin Hill, who I think is he's kind of a difficult horse to get a handle on. He's very lightly raced with a lot of layoffs, but he does have talent. And that was a fast race, a 101 buyer for Ford and Hill. So Edmondson ran well in there. He's got the speed. He should be on the lead in here. I don't know if I would take a short price on him or not, Dan, but he's certainly a major player.
My question for you regarding the number 5 Bankit, who ran a fine third last time out in the commentator when dropping back in with New York breds, was it simply the ground loss that got him beat? He must have been 5 wide on the turn while the winner, Funny Guy, saved every inch of ground. Was it the ground loss, or was it Bankit being Bankit? A horse that doesn't win very often, likes to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory, 7 lifetime seconds, and I know it was Mr. Buff that was second, a very, very good horse. I thought Bankit should have gotten second.
Listen, I think on paper, the easy argument to make is that the ground loss made the big difference there. This horse was wide. Funny Guy was not wide. He came right up the inside. And, the reality is that does make a difference. But, I just don't really feel like Bankit was ever going to win that race. He ran fine in there. He shows up every single time. I actually don't mind them cutting him back to 7 for this race at all. But he's going to need the right trip, and then he's just going to have to show that he can get there firsthand, because he very often does not.
Let's watch that commentator. Funny Guy's first start since being beaten in the Oklahoma Derby way back in September, and he saved every inch of ground under Joel Rosario. He's going to shoot up the inside while Bankit is on the far outside to the left of your screen, and he's green, Funny Guy. He does this in every one of his races. His lead changes are sloppy, but he pops a 101 buyer speed figure. This horse always hinted at a lot of ability last year as a 3-year-old, Mike. He might be really getting up to optimal maturity right now at 4. Are you surprised that they're turning him back instead of stretching him out? Because he ran really well in the Albany last year.
Yeah, no, I mean, I sort of feel like this horse can really do anything. When you start going through his PPs, Dan, I mean, he's been good sprinting. He's been good routing. He's good on a fast track. He's good on a wet track. He ran really well on turf twice last year. So it's just, they can do anything with this horse. And I feel like they've actually found a good spot for him here. I guess there could be some question as to whether he's going to back up that big effort off the layoff. But I'll tell you what, if he does, he's going to win right back.
Are you concerned that maybe he doesn't have the kind of speed to stay close, even in a slow-paced situation? He would just run off his feet. They went very fast last time out in the commentator, and maybe that's why he was so far back. But in the Albany, they were very comfortable putting him in mid-pack, and maybe that's just the way they want to ride him now.
I guess that could be a concern for him. I guess we'll see. I always looked at him, Dan, last year and just felt like he was a really tactical horse. You could kind of place him wherever you wanted to place him. But maybe you're right. Maybe that's not the way they want to ride him anymore. We'll see if the trip gets him beat. Because, I feel like if he loses, something kind of odd has to happen, or else he just doesn't run as well as he did last time.
Freaky Styley really put it all together towards the tail end of 2019. He got through his maiden condition in his one and only start this year. He rallied from far out of it. Let's watch that race. Now winners a one other than against New York breds going a 1-turn mile at Aqueduct, and he comes from way out of it to just get up. A lot of heart and determination, a lot of versatility for a colt that was basically wire to wire in his maiden win. We haven't seen him since February. That's somewhat of a concern, but Jorge Abreu is a sharp horseman. This horse has another New York bred condition available, and they're going to run him in this stake. He must like how he's doing.
Yeah, I guess that's true. We'll see if he can take, just a significant step forward in here, Dan, because he really needs to. That win that we just watched there back in February, total pace collapse in there. I mean, that race totally fell apart, and he just got up over Run for Boston, who would be, I don't know, 1,000,000 to 1 in this race. His maiden win 2 starts back. Dancers for Token actually got by this horse, and then he had to fight back to win. Dancers for Token would be 2,000,000 to 1 in this race. I don't know. He looks like he's in too tough to me.
My boy Tate, I'm a big fan of. He's won 40% of his races. He didn't really fire his best shot in the commentator. I'd argue that the layoff might have worked against him. I'd argue that being wide and trying to chase that fast pace worked against him. And I don't think really a mile is his best distance. We know he's very, very comfortable at 7 furlongs. I think with that last race under his belt, he's going to be a lot tighter. I just wish he ran a little bit better last time out.
Yeah, he was disappointing last time. I agree with you there. I feel like it can't just be that the 1-turn mile was too much for him. I do think cutting back really works for this horse. Listen, I'm just going to use him. I think he's going to be a good price in here. I was sort of, I liked his races. He came back from that long layoff late last year. I liked his win right off the bench. I thought he ran really well on the Holly Hughes when Amundsen beat him. And so that actually made me like him last time in the commentator. He didn't run well in there, but I'm definitely willing to give this horse a chance to rebound. Dan, he's a lot better than that last race.
And if Celtic Chaos wins this race, they might rename the Morrissey one year the Celtic Chaos because he won this in 2017. He won this last year. He's the kind of horse that would appreciate a little bit of pace up front. He likes to rally from the back of the pack. We last saw him way back in January in a race where Arthur's Hope just controlled it from start to finish. I don't think the track and the way the race was run really played to this horse's best style. Off the layoff, though, he's going to have to be good in this race.
Yeah, we'll see if he can get back. It felt like he was tailing off. He didn't have any chance the last time we saw him in the Safe Florida Sandy, but even before that, felt like he was tailing off a little bit. As you mentioned, he won this race 2017 and last year, and in between in 2018, Dan, he got very unlucky not to win that year. So he could be on a 3-race win streak in this race coming into the spot. So I guess we'll just see if he gets back to his good race, because it's pretty clear that his good race makes him a contender in here.
Fun race, the Thursday DRF race of the day, the John Morrissey Handicap. Let's take a look at our top selections. And we're both going to go with Funny Guy in here off of the triple-digit buyer, and maybe he could regress off of that race. I liked what I saw, and I liked the promise he showed as a 3-year-old. He might be able to have a really big season against New York Reds this year.
Yeah, I liked his race off the layoff last time too, Dan. I'm going to take him on top in this race. And if he's not favored, that's even better. The other horse for me is My Boy Tit. I'm going to give that horse a chance to rebound in here.
Yeah, he's a class master. He could certainly run well. I'm going 6.541. Mike's going 6.815. It's the John Morrissey Handicap. Race number 9 at Saratoga on Thursday. Approximate post time, 5:46 Eastern. Best of luck.